Mate, we returned to the studio, if you could even call it that.
I've heard someone else call it something different, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, shout out to you, whoever you are. But what a day it was at the track at Eagle Farm.
Fantastic day.
Yeah.
Fantastic day. A lot of there or thereabouts tipping from us.
Absolutely.
Some, if they ran a few inches faster, big difference in day.
Massive difference. We somehow landed, I think, 3 out of 6 trifectas on the day.
I thought it was 4.
I think it was 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should have had a 4th.
Yeah. Actually, I think it was 6 out of 6, wasn't it?
But yeah, shout out to Tom and Justin as well, who gave us a little shout out at the track. Came up and said g'day, good fellas. So
yeah. Thanks, fellas. Unexpected to meet people at the track who recognised us from our podcast. Despite the fact that we are ranked the number 1 horse racing podcast that's based in Brisbane that talks about Group 1's call on the drift in Australia.
Duh.
That was good.
So that was exciting. If we see you again, boys, we'll buy you beer. We're not buying you black rats. That breaks the bank a little bit too much, I think. But yeah, good day at the track, mate. What I was loving to see was the amount of patrons out there. It was really good to see.
It was a busy day. It was a good card.
Yeah, great card.
And, us Queenslanders like to get out and about, especially over the winter carnival. We like to, partake in a few colder beverages of the alcoholic variety prior to midday. Yes. And it's completely acceptable to do that at the track.
I love a bit of day drinking. I just can't drink as much beer as I once could. So that's concerning long term.
Times they are changing.
They really are. So it was a there or thereabouts day, but we'll get to that later on when we have a bit of a recap of our Juicy Stakes segment later in the show. But, well, for the second week, mate, we are kicking off with our Ladbrokes segment of the show. This week we're bringing you what would your dream stable be out of a selection of horses that we put our 2 minds together, our 2 noggins, and we selected this group of horses. So I'll try and, if I can figure it out, I'll try and put it in the visual of this, but it also might be a tile on Instagram or within the visual. You'll see it eventually. But so build your dream stable for $7. Now that is obviously a massive markdown. These are like Crazy Clark's prices right now.
Build your dream stable with pocket change.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even get you a schooner of gold at some expensive venues in the valley.
Absolutely not. But there's 4 different price brackets. So you have a $4 row, a $3 row, a $2 row, and a $1 row. And there's 4 horses on each. So on the $4 row, we have Very Elegant, Star, Nature Strip, top of the heap. Mm-hmm. You have Colding, good boy.
Always tries.
And Probably the best miler in the land. Mm-hmm. $3 line, we have the up-and-comer Zaki. We have Mugger 2, won an all-star mile.
Good horse.
Hungry Heart, who's probably proved to be the best 3-year-old that we have. And we have Masked Crusader. On the $2 line, we have Animo, Stay Inside, Salino, which might be a bit of value, and September Run. And on the $1 line, we have Ingratiating, who's just honest, Toffee Tongue, Colette, and Zutori. So, for the Ladbrokes special interest segment this week, so you can read this on the Ladbrokes blog, which we'll put in the show notes, and it will be our link in bio on Instagram as well. But this week, mate, I'd like you to kick off. How are you going to build your stable with this $7?
Tough to pick just a trio out of these because we are limited to 3 horses, but the way I sort of saw it was, let's try and get maximum value with this. So in the $2 line is Animo. Mm-hmm. And I think he is an absolute steal for $2. I made a prediction on the podcast a few weeks ago now when we were talking spring headlines as our special interest section.
Yes.
And I prophesized that Animo could emulate Yes, Yes, Yes's spring campaign as a 3-year-old, culminating in an Everest victory, which would be absolutely outstanding.
That'd be Nostradamus sort of stuff.
Yeah, wouldn't it just? That could be the platform that we need to really go places, mate.
Making a one-off prediction weeks ago on a Thursday night.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So he's a cracking colt. He's placed in the Blue Diamond. He placed in the Golden Slipper and destroyed them in the size produce. So he's a consistent horse. He gets back a bit, but I think he's versatile enough to sit middle of the pack, midfield, and his turn of foot is just something that you can't teach in a horse. It's just absolutely unreal. So $2, Animo.
Done. I might take my first one. So I've gone for the new hot thing. I've gone Zaki at $3.
Jeez, that was such a good win in the Doomben Cup.
It was. Now, you might argue who'd he beat, but he did beat the Cox Plate winner by about 10 lengths and the rest of them by about 8. So he's a pretty smart animal, I think. And to be honest, every single run he's had here has been outstanding. He was 100 to 1 in that Doncaster where he finished 5th or something. We mentioned him on the podcast because we had no idea what he was. And but anyway, he's proved to be a very, very good horse. I think he still has to prove it against the best, but I've got a feeling in my waters that this could be the new Very Elegant versus Dabe.
As in VE versus Zaki.
Yes. So I think this could be the next heavyweight battle at weight for age that we want in this country.
Yeah. Would love to see them racing against each other over 2000 or 24.
Well, they're going for the Cox Plate, both of them. So that will be a hell of a race this year. And if the Japanese come over, which is a big if, that would be huge. Anyway.
So $3 for Zaki. Well, I'm going to go to the top row and spend $4. I'm splashing the cash because it's well worth it for this superstar. Very elegant. Just a great, great horse. She gives you 100% every time she runs. She was a little bit of a naughty schoolgirl when she was younger, you know. She played up a little bit in the races, but Chris Wallace figured her out. And actually in the Queen Elizabeth was the first time in a long time I saw her over race a little bit. Still managed to run second to a Dabe, who is one of the best horses in the world. She can do it on a wet track. She can do it on a dry track, 1,600, 2,400 metres. She's got heaps of Group 1s, heading towards the Cox Plate. Would love to have her in my stable, mate.
That's $4 well spent.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'd buy it for $4. Yeah. So, no, she's a brilliant horse. My second one, I've gone for the Sprinters because I would love to win at Everest, and this bloke already has a slot. $3, Masked Crusader. I think he's probably, if he's not in the top 3, he'd definitely be in the conversation of best sprinters in the land. Nature Strip is still the most elite, but now with Bivouac retiring, I think there is a bit of a lack of depth at the very tippy top of our sprinting rankings. And he won a William Reed. That was an unbelievable run. Squeezed out, won by 2 lengths, and then he was nowhere in the TJ, and then he ran a really nice second. So, yeah, as I said, slow in the Everest, get a run for my money at $3. I'd happily have him in my stable.
Man, I cannot begrudge that whatsoever. So I've spent $2 on Animo, $4 on Very Elegant, so I've got $1 left. So I've got to take a pick from the bottom row. I'm going to go with Heart overhead a little bit, I think, and I'm going to go with another Waller-trained mare, 4-year-old Toffee Tongue. So I've got a soft spot for this girl. I backed her in the Australasian Oaks when she won as a 3-year-old. That was her maiden victory coming into Group 1. She's only won once since then. That was in a Group 3. But she's a horse who's generally going to be racing in Group 1s, and you'll tend to find her at a pretty good price. Backed her each way in the Doomben Cup where she ran second, but there was daylight between her and Zaki, but she was at a good price. So I think she's a good one to have if you want a little bit of a roughie who's still going to be in the G1s and can cheer her home. Plus, I'm just a massive sucker for those silks, mate. The red and white stripes, my favourite silks.
Speaking of Planet Bronc v the Dragons, the Drift Bowl.
Oh yeah,
you might say
that is the Drift Bowl. Yeah, or the the Drift Shield maybe they're playing for tonight, or maybe the Wooden Spoon Bowl. Yeah, we'll see how they go tonight. The Dragons, they were useless last week against the Tigers, so if they improve from that, I'll be a happy man. But that's my $7, mate. I've got Toffee Tongue, Very Elegant, and Animo.
Well, I also only have $1 left, and I had Ingratiating, Toffee Tongue, Colette, or Zutori to choose from, all at a brilliant price, I might add. But I've gone for the best wet tracker on this list, Colette. I made some pretty outlandish statements about her throughout this season of the podcast, saying that she'd probably knock off the Queen Elizabeth if it was wet. Well, she didn't. But I think I have a feeling they're going to target her towards mile races from now on, because she won the Golden Eagle on an absolutely bottomless track. But they were also saying early in the prep this year that she's being targeted to a Sydney Cup, which
sounds weird now in retrospect. Yeah,
it just it doesn't really make sense. And I think my gut feel with like James Cummings, and obviously he would know the horse better than us, but he's also said he's a bit unsure of what her best distance is. But she's proven she beat Very Elegant and Colding home first up, which she ticked that box, which she hasn't previously been able to do. I reckon she's actually a bit more affected over the shorter trips. Not saying that she can't actually win at the longer trips, but yeah, if it's a heavy deck, it's an even bigger tick. So I'd be happy to watch her go around for me.
Good pick, man. I like Colette as well. If it was a heavy track, she's hard to beat. So I think we've done pretty well, mate. Different horses for both of us.
Yeah, which is very unlike us. We usually double over all the time. But punters, if you want to give it a go, we're going to put it up on our Instagram. Comment below in the comments. How would you spend your $7? But yeah, thanks to Ladbrokes for letting us write this article this week.
Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. On to the Group 1 racing this week. So, Queensland Oaks. Set weights 2,200 metres, which I scratched my head at. I just thought it was a weird distance, you know.
Was it always 22? It used to be 2,000 or 24? I'm not sure.
I didn't go that far into the stats because I found a cracker.
Go on.
So, before we get into that, previous winners, Young Star, where are they now? Egg Tart, of course, Winks. And the last winner of this race was Winning Ways.
At a price from memory.
Do you remember how much that trifecta paid that day?
No.
$183,000.
Wowee.
So, my partner Prue, she had someone at work at the time that was at an event, and I think it was at the races. And these group of chicks were at the table, and they were going like, "Yes, we won! We all won on the race." She's like, "Oh wow! Like, you know, that paid a lot of money. Like, so you had it on Winning Ways?" And they're like, "No, we got the trifecta." And they're like, "What? What percentage? Like, how much did you have of it?" They're like, "Oh, like 50%." So they won like 90 grand.
Remember you telling me that story? That is insane.
Unbelievable.
Absolute insanity.
So I feel like that's a different segment altogether.
Yeah.
Just hectic wins on the pump, which quite frankly we'll never have.
Hey, never say never. Never say never.
So the Queensland Oaks, mate, how do you see this race unfolding? We have a couple of decent fillies coming from the Australasian Oaks, if it is in ATC Oaks, whatever it is. Coming through that form line with Duais and the other one.
Bargain.
So they're pretty firm in the market. Do you think they're the ones to beat?
I think they are right in it, mate. What I found interesting about this race is that I think over 40% of the horses are Chris Waller's.
Much like the Derby last week.
Yeah, very true. So he's got number 4, Only Words, number 5, Isafar, number 6, Grace and Harmony, number 8, Charm Star, number 10, Senora Nera, and number 13, Ruru. So he's got everything ranging from basically the favourite all the way out to a big roughie in Ruru at $101. Yeah, for me, it's about looking at the form from down south compared to what's been happening up here in the Superior State. We're getting into Origin mood, guys. It's about that time of year. So number 1, Jewess. Number 3, Bargain. Ran really well and have got good form around Hungry Heart. Jewess hasn't run since the Australian Oaks where Hungry Heart won. But so that's about a 7-week break. Bargain had 5 weeks off trial and then ran a nice second in the Roses at Doomben a couple of weeks ago, which looked to be a pretty good hit out leading into this race. So I think they're both in with a real chance. If I was going to pick a horse out of the Waller horses, I think I'd be with Grace and Harmony. She ran 6th last start in the Roses, which Group 2, where Bargain ran 2nd, and another Chris Waller horse, Only Words, won. Before that, she was going super with 3 wins on the trot. I think that was a forgive run last start, coming out of barrier 12. Barrier 3 here, J-Mac retains the ride, should be right on pace. So if I was going to pick out of the Waller horses, that'd be my pick. But those 3 really, Jewess, Jewess, Bargain, and Grace and Harmony are probably the 3 horses I'm tossing up.
Yeah. What about the Australasian Oaks winner from South Australia, Media Award? She's kind of the forgotten horse in the field, I think. She's going around at, around $8.
Yeah, she is. I had a look at her, and there's no reason why she can't win this. This is harder. But apparently she's being vetted, and she's got some injury clouds over her this week, so she's got to be vetted again on Saturday before the race. So, look, that hasn't stopped me before from backing a horse, but there's a little bit of trepidation there. But yeah, I admit, certainly no knock.
Yeah, she did win that at 60 to 1 as well, so her starting price profile probably doesn't weigh up against some of the ones at the tippy top of the market. I've a gut feeling about Juaeus and Bargain that it just stinks of afterthought. And I really don't like that Juaeus is, 7 weeks in between runs. Just doesn't really suit what I'm looking for. Bargain is probably the one that I'm leaning towards out of the 2, but I'm super keen on Grace and Harmony here. She was cast going into the straight. She was about 5 wide without cover. Now, she was just never going to win that race.
Fought on strongly, though.
She sure did. And what I saw that, I'm like, what did she do previously to that? Oh, yeah, she won 3 in a row. Oh, one of them was at the Gold Coast, though. Gold Coast, not famous for Group 1 winners. But I had a look at that race, mate. My God. She was stunning. So she jumped, settled 3rd last, and you could just tell that J-Mac was on that day, and J-Mac just let her ride, and she went from basically 3rd last to going into the straight and sitting 5th. She just went out the outside of him. She was just traveling that well, and then she just powered away for such a soft win. I think she's only going to get better over the distance. I actually don't mind that she had a bit of a tough run last start. I think she's going to be rock hard fit here. Top of the ground, barrier 3. She doesn't have to get so far back. I think she's looking a cracking bet at the $5 on offer.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair, mate. And I don't think the pattern of her last start really suited her. They came out super fast around her. A lot of the leaders drew outside of her. So she was barrier 12, and there was a lot of leaders, sort of 14, 15, and 16. So I think that put sort of pressure on J-Mac to make a decision whether to ride a 4 to take it back. And I think he thought, just drawing the car park, this isn't the grand final. Let's just take a seat and see how we go, ride for a little bit of luck. And it didn't pan out that way. But I tell you what, draws barrier 3 here with J-Mac retaining the ride. He's been in cracking form recently. His strike rate in Brisbane this year, or Queensland, is incredible. So, yeah, I'm probably leaning more towards Grace and Harmony. I think I agree with you with Bargain being the major threat and danger for me out of those 2, Juas and Bargain, because I think draws the right barrier, is sitting in and around Grace and Harmony, and has showed that it has a really fast finish. So that's the danger for mine, but I'll probably be with you in having Grace and Harmony on top.
Yeah, absolutely. Out of those 3 for mine. So I think that's the Group 1 racing done and dusted.
It is.
Gee, this might be an all-time quick podcast, but knowing us, it won't be. So on we go to the juicy stakes. Now, this is a bit of a... Oh, so close, mate. So close. So what we were teasing last week, punters, was I was lucky enough to make an appearance through the radio on Triple M with Dead Set Dobbo in Brisbane, which was unbelievable. Great experience. Gave out some tips. Not one of them won, but I did say Jonker each way looks a cracking bet, and I thought I was an absolute genius with about 50 metres to go.
In the Keeks and Smith, I thought you were a genius too, and I was cheering you home. You were standing behind me. The gasp of desperation at the end. I was like, well, I just sounds like you just had to put down one of your favourite animals.
Jonker, no! I just didn't even know. I didn't see Vega 1. And
I don't think anyone did.
No, cracking ride by Jamie Carr. We say that far too often, but it is true. But so yeah, that would have been all time if Jonker had pulled that off at $17 or whatever it was. And but not to be, ran a great race into second. So hopefully I've got one around the same price this week, so we can go one better. Some other value player of the day was Amish Boy, who ran third at he was about $20. So that wasn't too bad. How'd you?
I had Pass of Glory as my roughie. It was only about $10, but ran third. So definitely made more than your money back at an each way price, punters.
Beauty, each way?
My each way was So You Win, who there or thereabouts ran second. I think when we were speaking about it on the podcast, it was about $6, but I think ended up starting favourite around $4.80. Second, there or thereabouts.
I'd Mousy in the first, ran fifth. She just got way too far back. I thought the inside draw would be perfect. No, she hates it. Doesn't have a yard, so hard to make ground at Eagle Farm. And then your best.
My best bet ran second as well, but it was $1.65 favourite, Ayrton. So I think that was the trifecta where Amish Boy ran third and Apache Cat won. So whilst Ayrton running second wasn't good for my best bet punt, it was good for us because we had the trifecta.
We did, unbelievably. I think we had the first four, actually, which was huge. My best, Ladonda V ran fifth. Just don't know what was wrong. I have heard that there is a lot of conjecture, a lot of chat during the week that the Eagle Farm track is really, really hard. Like, it's super hard, which I think we did talk about last week.
Yeah, we did.
So it is something to take into consideration in the future, but there is a bit of rain around. We record on Thursdays. There has been a bit of rain around today. Not that much. It'll basically just be a watering day, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely look at your on paces who like a good track this weekend in Eagle Farm.
Well, kick us off, mate. Who's your value play of the day?
Mate, I've gone a little bit left of centre this week. There was nothing really on the card that screamed out to me as a roughie, so I'm going exotic.
Please do.
We're going out into the wilds, looking for something exotic. So I think a Box Quinella is a great shout in the Queensland Oaks with Jewis Bargain and Grayson Harmony. It's about $4.80 the field according to Ladbrokes. So let's just say $5. If you box those three, spend $10 on it, you get over 300%. And if it comes off, you're probably getting about a $12 dividend, I'd say. Yeah.
Like the way I usually try and calculate it is if you go, the odds of both horses, say they're $5 and $5, you times that together and then divide it by 2. That's a rough guide of how much you would pay.
So that's a bit of value there, guys, if you want to play in the exotics in the Group 1.
I like it. I like it. I have found something and I'm very keen. I'm very keen on this bet. I want you to go race 7 on the card. I want you to look at this field and I want you to talk me through it because I'm looking at Natoya at the top of the page who, if she's not favourite, she's very close. She has a starting price profile that would put bookies to shame because she is usually in like the 40s or so. So I'm happy to risk her. What has Fabric done wrong in this?
Nothing. Draws well, should be right on pace, every chance.
So she has come back a very, very good horse. So she lost against Reloaded last start. Now, Reloaded has come out and he's won a couple on the trot, believe it or not. And we were at the track. He ran a very nice race. But what big few ticks here. Gets on top of the ground. Huge tick. 3 weeks in between runs, which I think suits her perfectly. She likes being fresh. Stays at the 1600, which is, I'm happy with that. Drawn barrier 6. Craig Williams on board will just stalk the speed. And she's against her own sex here. She's against the fillies and mares. I think she's a cracking bet at the $15 on offer.
She'll get out and have every chance. There doesn't look to be an awful lot of pace in that race, which I think suits Fabric rather than, according to Ladbrokes, the favourite Nudge at $4.80. Nudge had a cracking run last start, but it was a really fast run race. So she stalked and came around and absolutely destroyed them. Doesn't get that type of race here, so I think the pattern will suit leaders. Fabric looks to be the leader, so can't begrudge that bet at all, mate.
Beautiful. Who's your each way?
So if you go to race 3, number 3.
Race 3, number 3.
A horse by the name of the Cash Cow.
I did see.
A.K.A. Mashani Hustler, who we've backed as a group on countless occasions.
Well, when he was winning once upon a time.
When he was winning. So, get this. Last start, he started at $101, which is absolute insanity. And he ran third behind Varda and Kylese. Varda's favourite for a race somewhere else in the card.
Yep.
But loves a good track, doesn't mind Eagle Farm, draws barrier 1 here, so it's a no-brainer. Take him forward.
It's where he's comfortable.
Give him every chance. Look, he's come back well, and I think he's due to have a good prep because his last couple of preps haven't been great. $8.50 on offer at the moment, punters. Get on the Cash Cow. Mashani Hustler, nice each way price. Let's go.
I was looking at the Hustler. I was looking at the Cash Cow because I thought they've disrespected him again.
Of course they have.
But
$101 last start.
I then looked at his second up profile and he's got a big duck egg there. So
it's time for a change.
It is. So I think, fingers crossed the Cash Cow can get the job done. My each way play of the day is Grace and Harmony in the Oaks. I think she's a cracking bet at $5.50 currently on offer at Laddies. Who's your best?
Well, just mentioned it, but if you go to race 5, number 8, $4.80 at the moment with Laddies. Varda.
Varda, my best of the day as well.
Bang.
I'm super keen to take on Splintex here.
So am I. Splintex $2.70. Ran 6 in Doomben 10,000. That's pretty good form. But there looks to be heaps of pace in this race. And I think from barrier 1 he'll go forward, but I think there'll be too much pressure on Splintex. I think Varda can stalk them from barrier 2, and last start was incredible. So mare's in form, mate.
Yeah,
bang.
100%. And she beat home Mask Crusader in the autumn. In the spring, rather. So she has some hectic form around her. Splintex, look, probably one of the best. He is the best horse in the race, I reckon. But he had every possible chance to win last start in the 10,000. Couldn't get the job done. Faded to 6th. Stays at the 1,200 here. He's been up for a while too. Whereas Varda is the new chick on the block. Third up here. Interestingly, she hasn't won at 1,200 metres. So that was my only slight query is is she just a short distance 1,100 metre horse? But from that barrier, Kieran McAvoy, lightweight, looks a cracking bet.
I agree. She's by Lonhro as well. Got a soft spot for them. So yeah, I think she'll be very hard to beat. $4.80 as well. I think she'll come in, so jump on.
Beautiful. Well, I think that's us done. So, punters, if you want to read basically what you listen to and watch some videos about the horses that we picked in our Laddies Build Your Dream Stable segment, it'll be in our link in bio, or just look for or search for Ladbrokes blog in Google. And I'll also be on Triple M sometime on Friday. I think it will be the rush hour with Dobbo, and then again on Dead Set Dobbo Saturday morning with
Saturday mornings.
Triple M as well. So
awesome.
But until then, we'll speak to you next time.
Good luck, punters.